Hey guys, welcome back to another video in InfoSec Pat. This is video 15, how to install and configure DFS on Windows Server 2019. So if you're ready for the video, let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back. So this is video 15, how to install and configure DFS. So DFS is a distributed file system. So what we're going to do here is create a namespace server, create a namespace root, a folder, and all that stuff. And the next video, what we're going to be doing is setting up replication. So we have two redundant DFS servers. All right. So this is going to be our environment, and we have our Win2K DFS, Win2K19 DFS01. It's going to house the DFS role, and it's going to be at this IP 192.168.50.210, and it has 8 gigs of RAM. So, and then I already joined it to the domain so I can save some steps. I moved it to the proper OU, and now we're going to go ahead and jump to step 3. All right, and we're going to verify it on a Windows 10 box, and we'll test it. All right, so I'll show you guys everything. So in our Windows Active Directory server, we do have the DFS server that resides in our server's OU. Just so, because I don't want it to be redundant, how to join a computer to a domain and do all that. We should know how to do that by now. It is the 14th video. So we're going to log in. And once we log in, we're going to go ahead and check out a few things. Before we actually we can unpin this because we don't have this. Before we go any further, we have a D drive that has DFS data. So this is where the data is going to reside for the DFS shares, all right, for the namespace. So we have a few things in here if you want to see. Look, I got my MCSC in 2003. Look at this, a million years ago. Yes, that was my first Microsoft certification. So I started on the 2003 server. All right, so let's go ahead and make sure everything is started. And we'll go ahead and go to Manage, Edge Roles and Features. So what we're going to do here is add the DFS role. So before we add a DFS role, it's under File and Storage Services. Once we hit DFS namespace, we're going to see file server has been enabled. And we're going to do DFS replication because the next video we're going to start on replication. All right, so just hit next from here and next and install. This should take just a couple moments, maybe a minute or two. Once this is done, I'm going to reboot the server so we can make sure everything is good. And let's make sure our Windows 10 client is good to go. So we have our lucky star user 1. Let's log in as user 1. This is the machine that we're going to be testing everything from and mapping the drive and all that stuff. So if we go to this computer or this PC, we don't have any mapped drives at the moment, as you can see. And the same with 2010. I mean, 2019, our domain controller, 2010. So yeah, there's no map drives, there's nothing. And so let's go back here. The installation has been successfully installed. Let's hit close on here. And we're gonna go ahead and go to Tools, DFS Management. Whoop, I don't wanna do that. DFS Management, minimize that, close that. I wanna pin this. And I wanna reboot the server really quick, just to make sure everything is good. Anytime, at least it's a habit of mine, anytime I do a new role install, unless it's like a printer, it's something like very, very minor, I normally reboot the server just to make sure all the services start and just, it's just a habit. So if you want to get into that habit, go for it. Once you're done installing the role, just go ahead and reboot your server so we can go ahead and proceed. And if not, try to see what you can get. And if you get any errors or anything like that, services need to be started, just reboot. All right, so let's go ahead and do a Control-Delete here. Let's log back in with our fancy password. And now we can start installing the role. All right, I'm installing the namespaces. So let's make sure all of our services started successful. Of course not. Let's go ahead and make sure all these start. And it should be green in a second. Let's see what's going on here. Refreshing, refreshing, refreshing. Refresh. There we go. Everything is green. All right, so we can minimize that. Let's open up a DFS manager. So the first things first, we're going to have to create a namespace. So let's hit new namespace. And what server do you want to utilize as your DFS server? Obviously, we only have one in our environment right now. So the way we do it, we can just go hit browse. We can type it in, but I like to do this just so I don't make no typos. Hit advanced, go find now, and we're going to see all of our computers in here because it's selected by the object type is computer, and it's Win2K19 DFS01. So we can hit OK here. Next, our name is going to be public because that's what I want to. I'm just going to name it. You can just name whatever you want, but I'm going to put public. And so for here, you have domain-based namespace or you have a standalone. I'm going to use domain-based namespace, so I'm going to use like whack my domain name, whack the namespace, which is public in this case. All right. And now we can see our overview of what we're doing and what we're creating. All right. So let's go ahead and just hit create. All right. So let's hit OK here. And now we can see our namespace here, but there's no folders, there's no nothing. But say namespace, so if we go, we can go like this, but we won't see anything. Whack Win2K 19-DFS 01/public. And we see this is our share, but there's nothing in there. We don't have any folders set up yet. Okay, so same thing. If we copy this, we can go on our client machine, paste that. We should be able to get to it, but there's nothing in there yet. All right, we're one step down, many more to go. I'm just kidding. So let's go ahead and X out of here. We'll minimize that, whatever. And now on the actual namespace, we can go ahead and hit add folder. So now what we're going to do is add the folder that we want to utilize. Okay, so we're going to name this public. That should be fine. Okay, so it's going to be public. You know what? I'll just name this FL for Florida. Okay, it doesn't really matter. You can name it whatever you want. Let me just copy this so I can just remember what I name it. All right, so what folder do we want to add for the target? We're going to be browsing to new folder, right? And what we're going to be doing is browsing to the D drive and public. So this is the actual folder that we're going to be utilizing for our namespace. All right. So our share name, it can be public as well. Public. Okay. And we're going to have it read. So in this permission, we're going to actually have all the users read and write. Okay. So we can have them have all the King Kong rights. All right. Creating the share failed. Cannot create the folder. The name already exists. Okay. So let's go ahead and go to OK. Let's do public-FL because this is the Florida site. Okay. That should be fine. Okay. Boom. Okay. So I'm going to do Florida. Public-Florida. That should be fine. That's going to be our namespace. I want to copy that too so I don't forget. Whoops. And I want to paste it over here so I know what my share names are. So we can hit OK and hit OK again. Okay. So now we have Florida. So this is our namespace for Florida. So now technically if we go to this folder, this URL, so like if we go to properties, we can see refresh, advanced, any kind of, but if we look at the general, if we take this namespace, right, copy this, and we just go directly to, well, we can just go start, run, paste this, and we should, if I hit enter, we should, I want to X out of here, and X out of here, I just want to minimize everything so you can see, whoops, not that, minimize the whole thing. So if I hit, when I go to whack infosec path.local whack public slash FL, we should go to that public folder. Okay, boom. So now this is all the data that resides in there. So if we go directly to it, like say for example, if I go to DFS, this is the same data. This is the logical path, right? This is the physical path, and now this is the namespace path. So if we copy this, we go to the disk, the Windows 10 user, run, paste this, we should see that same exact stuff. So now we can go ahead and right click on this computer, map drive. We can browse to that, DFS here, pics or whatever, but we're not going to do that. We're going to actually utilize the same path. We're going to name it U for user or F for Florida. F for Florida, doesn't really matter. Hit OK. And now we have that public, because this is the name of the share, right? Because that was the name of the share, if I remember correctly. Let's go back here. Let's go back here. Namespace, I guess it's Florida. So, and delegation, this is all the delegation. The search, if you want to search for anything. And if you, now the target, the folder targets, the replication, we don't have any replications yet because we haven't set that up. That's in the next video. And that's pretty much it, how you set up DFS. It's a very, very simple process. And sometimes it could be tedious. Sometimes people get confused, but it's not really to get confused about. Let's just bring this over. So you can see this is the namespace. Remember, this is the namespace. This is the folder. So if we go back to our little diagram here, so like the folder, so the namespace is whack infosec path.local whack public, right? So that's the server. And then the root is same thing, whack, and the folder is, our folder name is public. So we named it the same thing, right? Because you can see here, public-Florida. This is the name. So the folder is public-FL, okay? And you can do the share permissions, you can change different permissions and all that cool stuff. So what we can do is test it. We're on our, let's go onto our client machine, go onto our network drive, and let's just put a new file called test class. This is a test for DFS. Okay, save it. Now let's go ahead and make sure that's on here. So that's on the folder that we're sharing out, and here we go. This is a test for DFS. So that's pretty much it. So that's how you set up a DFS server and a DFS role within 2019 server. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment. If you have any concerns or whatever, but please like, subscribe, share with your friends and your social media or whatever. You can hit me up on any social media if you have any questions about the video. And until next time, have a good one. Take care, guys.